If you're being drained, there may be a reason why, and that reason is mind-blowing and much bigger than you think. See, as spiritual people, we all have the same tendency, and that is to judge ourselves crazy harsh. So when things go wrong, we jump to the conclusion that I am wrong. That's the equation. Well, something's gone wrong. That means I've done something wrong, or worse yet, I am wrong. And it's not the truth. The truth is way more beautiful and honestly mind-blowing than you see on the surface. On the surface, what you're going to see is I'm being drained financially. I stuffed up. I'm being drained emotionally. Once again, I stuffed up. I'm being drained in multiple places. The list goes on. There are multiple drainage sites on the planet right now, and I'm going to explain this to you in a way that I know you're going to understand. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to lay it out in front of you so that you can see exactly what I see, and then the bigger picture. Not just, oh my God, this is why I'm so drained, but beyond that is, thank you. So many people are so afraid of this step that you're going to be led to the thank you, the gratitude, the awe when you see the bigger picture. There are people right now who have a disease, and the disease is, I can't suffer. I can't go through hardship. I can't go through turmoil. I can't face difficulty. I can't face myself. And that disease makes them project pain on others and cast themselves in the light of victimhood. And there's free will. You can do that if you want to. It's just that the universe truly doesn't care how long it takes you to get out of victimhood. It doesn't care how many lifetimes it takes you to step out of that self-denial, self-loathing, self-pitying victim state. So listen to this sharing today, because it could change everything for you. Okay. A little while back, I put it up on YouTube. I shared with you guys. Oh my God, I have found myself in the worst situation. I really was. I felt so attacked. I felt so drained. I felt so damn devastated. I rented a house and it was the worst move ever. It was the worst move. The people who we rented from were just horrors. So unscrupulous. Criminally unscrupulous. And you know, like you would probably do the same thing in that situation. What have I done? What is this showing me? Analyze. And I did slip into that every now and then, but I do know well enough to steer clear of that space and to really surrender into where I am. Listen to that, because it's a key. See, I'm not just sharing, oh, this is Kerry's story. I'm sharing a personal story so that you can use it to enrich yourself, so that you can learn through this. And sometimes it really helps having somebody else walk through something, because it helps to make sense of what you're walking through. A couple months ago, I put up a video on YouTube, and it's called The Clearing Has Begun. And in that video, I described these black vortices that sprung up in numerous places upon the planet. So imagine, I know this is going to sound like, oh, Kerry, you're getting a bit scary with me now, but hold on, it gets good. There's these black vortices of darkness dotted in multiple places around the planet. Yes, there are also rods of light. Another video, would you believe, on my channel talks about rods of light, but the brief of it is this: wherever you are as a light worker, you're anchoring at least one, but possibly multiple rods of light into the earth. These are becoming beacons of light. These are becoming anchor points for cosmic energy to sink down deep into the core of the planet, calibrate that energy, return it to the surface, and allow us now to integrate some nicely calibrated cosmic codes. Basically, it makes ascension easier, and it amplifies the light on the planet. In the presence of this, these multiple dark vortices began to spring up. And they've got to be multiple. Do you know why? The bandwidth of darkness is very short. The bandwidth of light is a ripple. It's expansive. It's extensive. Darkness pretty much goes nowhere. So there's these multiple little dark vortices wherein the earth is beginning to transmute all of the darkness by drawing the darkness into itself. And these drainage sites, these are places where people fall ill, where people may have an accident, where people's lives may come to an end. And so I know you're hearing this and you're going, geez, Kerry, what's happened? You're getting pretty dark with us here. Here's the thing. At every one of these drainage sites or these dark vortices, a person, a place, a situation, a circumstance is being given the option, the opportunity to let go of darkness. We were born into so much darkness, you guys. I don't have words to explain to you how much darkness we've been walking around with as if it's our duty and our job and our calling. It's what the false matrix set us up to do, to harbor the darkness and then to integrate it into ourselves as if it were ourselves. It's one of the reasons, by the way, why we've got to let go pretty slowly. A lot of you guys get impatient. You say things to me like, why we keep having to let go, Kerry, over and over again. It's because you got to do this gradually. It's because so much of your identity is in an untruth, a false version of self. So we've got to gently, as we go through ascension, we've got to gently disentangle ourselves from that false version of who we are that holds the darkness, as if the darkness were who you are, were your identity. So all the trauma, the pain, the sufferings of the ego, all of that gets intertwined with your name, with your core identity. That's what we're disentangling right now. These dark vortices are where light workers are going to be called to face themselves, to face the darkness, to be drained, to be depleted, to feel shitty, and then think, my God, what have I done wrong in my life? Instead of, how blessed am I that I'm being given an opportunity to see if I can withstand the drainage. And you can. You 100% can. Because to withstand the drainage means you must be depleted of darkness, drained of darkness, and everyone's going to go through this in their own way. I went through it by dealing with monsters in human form in a house that I had rented. I felt so drained. I got so sick. I was perpetually drained. And I shared with my online community. I had this lovely talk with the Plasma Light Tribe about, don't push things into place, because that's kind of what I had done just before I moved. I desperately wanted to move. I pushed for it to happen. It happened. It was disastrous. Yet, the crazy thing is everything lined up to make it possible, right? So you'd be forgiven for thinking, hey, this was meant to be, this was divinely planned, because it was. See, divinity will sometimes send you to what looks like your doom, but it's not your doom, because you're an infinite being of light that can actually not be harmed. The question, though, is going to be, can you just let go? Can you let go of this much darkness? And so it turns out that being in a drainage station can be an activation of your light, can be an essential component of release and letting go. It can be a fast tracking to your ascension. So these dark vortices across the planet, there will be people who face them and who come to the conclusion of, no, I'm not willing to give up my investment in the false self. I'm not willing to disentangle myself from all of the darkness I believe myself to be, because that's now my story. That's how I've portrayed myself. I'm going to cling to it. And in that instance, those drainage stations will, I want to put it this way, kind of like suck the person in. It's a swirling of darkness, and it's like a magnet, and all of the darkness in the area gets magnetized into this vortex where it gets drawn into the core of the planet and transmuted into light. And yes, some people who've reached a point of, I cannot grow any further, go any further, they may find themselves drawn into these dark vortices, and they're purifying and they're cleansing, because what happens is you kind of get spat out on the other side, but in your light-bodied form. There are some bodies, though, who can't withstand that in the body. You can, because you've been practicing for this. I certainly have just done that, and you're more than capable. But I want you to know that if you find yourself in a dark place, it's not because you're bad, and it's not because you're wrong, and it's not because you're a victim, and it's not because you're being punished. Right now, you're being given every opportunity to let go. And so as much as you would almost think, what insanity is this, to be at a place where I'm being drained and go, yay, yay, universe, thanks for that. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But what if you could be drained of all the programs and the false selves and the pains and the torments and the tortures? What if you could be drained of all of that? See, we only think of being drained as something really negative, as in, I can't get my light back. But what about when darkness is being drained? That's what I'm talking about here. When darkness is being depleted from you, it's crazy how we've got this knee-jerk response to protect our very own pain and darkness and go, no, I don't want to let this go. But then eventually you get pushed to this place of exhaustion. It's what happens when you're drained. Drained to the point of, I just don't have the strength to carry on anymore. That point is called surrender. And I'm going to tell you about surrender in just a moment, but I got to tell you, part of this phenomenal draining, healing process that I went through unknowingly was being spat out the other side into pure light. I've just looked in front of me, and what I see is the ocean. And I look behind me, and there is the most healing mountain that I wish every single one of you could be before. In fact, it's my intention to take video footage and to do meditations with you guys, just to share the bounty and the beauty of the place that I'm in, the kind of beauty that I never thought that I could even experience. Like, everyone thinks, oh yeah, I mean, I could go to the coast, because like, who couldn't do that? And I could go to a mountain, but I could do that anytime. But to be in both, there's an overload of beauty, an overload of energy. There is a vortex of light just behind me, the likes of which I might explain to you at another time. Just let me say, it's pretty big. And that's an understatement. It's because of being in that place, though. It's because of being in that hell, that drainage point, that I said yes to this place. That was part of the divine perfection. That was part of the culmination of the glory of the story that I'm telling you. See, if I hadn't gone through such darkness, I'm telling you, I would never have entertained the possibility of looking at the house that I'm in right now, which is splendor and perfection and the nicest people, the kindest people. Just the gift I didn't even know that I'd asked for, I didn't even know that I was getting. But that's what happens when you let go of darkness. And let me get back to surrender. And on that note, watch this video that I shared a little bit more about surrender with you guys. It's actually a snippet from a 1.5 hour Plasma Light Tribe masterclass on surrender. This is just a little 10-minute clip, but go ahead and watch this, because it's really going to open up the next door for you. There it is. From my heart all the way to yours. Lots and lots of love, everyone.